Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the College Football Preview Orange Helmeted Show. Casey Kendrick along with Robert Allen. And, okay, so it wasn't the score that I got right, but I nailed the differential. Do I get a point for that? Did I get an extra point for that?
Because I've nailed the score twice
No,
this year.
come on.
On the dot.
No,
and I
come
didn't get an
on.
extra. Did I get an extra? Okay. I'll give you a point for that.
If
I get a point for each time I nail the score exactly.
Our total or the total between the two teams?
No, I nailed both teams' totals.
No.
Twice this year.
Okay, we're gonna go back and look. Got to rewind that.
Okay, if we did that,
yeah.
I'll take those two, and I'll give you the one this week.
Well, the 18-point differential was just really good. That didn't come about the way I thought it was.
You know what the actual spread was in the game?
17.5 to 18.
17.5.
Yeah,
That's what I saw most.
Yeah.
You don't think those people in the desert are sharp?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely. Now, granted, again, Kansas, we were much better than 18 points.
No doubt.
And
it is what it is.
If we'd have kept our foot on the gas, it would have been a different.
Yeah, but I think Vegas factors in.
I think
all
they
those
do
things.
too. I do too.
Oh, no.
But I think they got lucky on this one because I think the score late by Kansas. Was
Vegas gets lucky a lot.
Yeah, well, and I got lucky because I had an 18-point differential, and that's what it ended up being. All right, enough about all that. Les was back in town. The Cowboys came out and really
talked to him.
Dominate. How was Les?
He was before the game. He was okay, and then he hugged me, and I've talked to him a couple of times. In fact, I talked to him when he was in the midst of trying to get or he was getting the Kansas job, and now I did hear a couple of interesting rumors. If you just want rumors,
okay, love rumors. Sure,
all right, let's start with the Pooka Williams. I had had a phone call the day before from somebody in the coaching business that used to be at Kansas. Well, I may have given him away there. And he said, I still have some coaches I know there, and they tell me that things aren't well with Pooka and that he's making the trip, but he may not play much, if any at all. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. Well, I mean, most
meaning
people say.
For our game.
Yes.
Okay, because he'd already been in trouble once this year.
And so, at the beginning of the year, he missed the first game because of an off-season incident. And so, most people say, well, Robert, you picked up the phone and called, Gundy, Knowles, take your pick. I didn't. I did mention it to Coach Knowles before the game, and it was not, if I had got this from another broadcaster, this, when you get it before a game from a broadcaster, you're trying to help them with their job. They're trying to help you with yours, and there's kind of a code. You don't take that to the coaches. But this was outside source. So before warm-up started, I saw Jim Knowles on the sidelines, and he goes, "That's good to know." And I said, "Yeah, I waited to say something today." And he goes, because it's not a factor. We're preparing as if we have to tackle Pooka. Okay, end of this story. Pooka missed a practice last week. Not because he was hurt. He was MIA from a practice last week. And then another day he showed up, I'm told, 10 to 15 minutes late for a meeting, and then was 10 to 15 minutes late for the practice after the meeting. So what he was going to do, and he wasn't in the training room or anything. So, Pooka's attitude is kind of sliding a little bit. But it's like I said, I remember guys who got in trouble when Les was the coach here. That was no problem playing them. If they can help you win, Les Miles is going to play you, period. And so
look, that the example in that is, first off, he had Prentice Elliott. He knew everything he needed to know about Prentice Elliott. Prentice Elliott was still on this team. And when Coach Gundy got the job,
got rid of about a dozen of them, including
some of them he had no choice on, and some of them he had plenty of choice on. And he got rid of a whole lot of kids that he knew that's not going to fly if you want to do this long term. And I think that is truly one of the downfalls of Les Miles.
And that was one of the questions to Gundy last week. How much did Les help you and all that? And Mike Gundy was really nice. And, Les set the tone. Guys got used to winning. It was easier to do. What Gundy didn't say was about 12 guys or 13, I think may have been the exact number of guys that I wasn't going to have in my program. From a culture standpoint, we couldn't deal with it and got rid of them. And you remember Mike Gundy went to 4-7 his first season. And a big part of it was he had to jettison a chunk of that team because he was looking at establishing a long-term, as Casey said, a long-term program with a culture that would not only win games but also keep. And Mike Gundy's had his guys. I mean, there have been guys that he either brought in, hoping, or that he had on the team and gave him a second chance. He's not a guy that doesn't do that. And sometimes it's worked. Sometimes it hasn't. So, but anyway, that's.
It's funny. This is not where I thought we'd go, but we whooped Kansas' tail, so it kind of brings us full circle. Friday night, I got a chance to talk to Coach Gundy for a long time, actually, prior to the ball game. Then I got a chance after he started working our cameras a little bit. I got a chance to talk to him
a job.
Yeah, I gave him.
You offered him a job.
I said, hey, look, this thing ain't working for you at Oklahoma State. I got an $8 an hour camera operator job, and I'd love to have you, or broadcast, whatever. But it was interesting because we were actually talking about our sons, and we were talking about, I won't go into all of it, but it was just kind of interesting. We were talking, it really led us quickly to parenting, and then that led us into coaching/parenting. And it was almost the exact same kind of conversation. And the point, we kind of got to that, it sounded like a couple old men on a park bench, I'm going to be honest with you. Accountability is not what it used to be, and the kids just, everything changes. But that is truly what Coach Gundy wants out of his kids. He wants to, he said, here was the way he put it: graduate kids, help them become better people, and help them develop as athletes. And that was just a casual conversation, not on air. So anyway, there is a difference between Mike Gundy's style and Les Miles' style by a long shot. So,
and I don't want to make it sound like Les Miles is off the rails and runs an outlaw program. I don't think he does. I just think his tolerance for lack of discipline or guys messing up, his tolerance is obviously much higher than Mike Gundy's. Les' two kids played in the game, and every time I saw Benny or Manny in there, my eyes kind of locked in on them. They both did a good job. I tell you what, Benny, who's the fullback, and I got to watch him on kickoff return, and also he played some in the game as a fullback. Let me tell you now, Benny's a load. He'll knock the crap out of you now. So, again, I don't want to throw that. Now, Les hugged me, and here's another. John Helsley went to the press conference post game, because he had not had a chance to see Les. He covered the beat back then, and he has concerns. I do too. Les, I mean, it is beyond what it was when he was here as far as the pauses and thinking about what he's going to say, and oftentimes what actually comes out. But, we'll see what happens. I heard this. Here's the other good rumor I was going to throw out. The guy they replaced Les Koenig as the offensive coordinator is Brent Dearman.
Out of Bethel, right?
Yeah, out of Bethel, young, sharp guy that wrote a book, The Evolution of RPOs. Wrote it on vacation. and I wonder if there's a chapter. I'm sure there's a Leach chapter, but I bet there's a chapter in there from Oklahoma State because OSU was in early on the RPO action. Anyway, Dearman had one unbelievable season as head coach at his alma mater, and then got hired as an advisor, and then got moved into the offensive coordinator job midseason, and that first game was the one where they darn near beat Texas. They beat Texas Tech. They've had success, and I heard Brent Dearman has been signed to a very long-term contract at Kansas, even with the not the stipulation, but the suggestion that he would be the head coach in waiting.
So what that tells me is Les Miles is in a very similar situation as he was at Oklahoma State. And they might have thought about that until Oklahoma State dominated them on the defensive side. We got to get a break here. We'll talk about that domination
How
by the
you
Cowboys.
Feeling about Jim Knowles these days?
I feel a lot better about Jim Knowles.
Okay.
If you don't, what can I say? Take a break, come back. We'll continue. Much more to get to as we roll on. This is the College Football Preview Show.
The McCafe is now featuring cold brew coffee and cold brew frappes. Face the day with a cold brew coffee from the McCafe with a rich cold brew coffee blended with ice for a creamy frozen drink that's colder than cold brew. Or refresh with a cold creamy frappe. We start with a cold brew coffee, blended ice, and topped with whipped cream and rich chocolate drizzle for a great anytime frozen treat. McDonald's in Stillwater, Perkins, Perry, and Cushing. I'm loving it.
To all of our neighbors, friends, the people we see every day, we come to you today with no news or announcement, but to let you know what's on our hearts. Because quite simply, we feel honored. You're the reason that what we do is so much more meaningful than a job. The reason we believe in the power of investing in tomorrow. But you're also the reason we believe in the power of sharing the same neighborhoods and a loyalty that's bigger than any challenge. So this is simply thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to move forward and grow, but never lose sight of the roots that connect us. As we step boldly into a time of change and innovation, consider this our promise that every investment in our hospital is an investment in our communities. Because you're the reason we love what we do and love where we live.
From pumpkins and parades to parties and performances, October is full of orange and America's friendliest college town.
What better way to see the beautiful Oklahoma State University campus in the city of Stillwater than by running 13.1 miles on Sunday, October 6th in the Stilly Half.
500 competitors come together at the Cowboy Stampede. Watch them rope, ride, and wrestle.
As the world turns orange.
We are so excited about the Harvest Carnival, Walk Around, and the Sea of Orange Parade.
Something you and I have done for a number of years on the radio.
With Broadway shows and internationally acclaimed symphonies, the McKnight Center for the Performing Arts at Oklahoma State University is a world-class facility opening this October.
Trick or treat with the downtown merchants, enjoy the carnival games, inflatables, and the costume contest at the annual Halloween Festival. Don't miss a beat in America's friendliest college town. Check out our full listing of events at visitstillwater.org.
Kent and Barbara Houck have been saying they're a one-stop shop for many years. In 1951, the Houck Agency began insuring Oklahomans and since has expanded to insure people in 11 states across the country. The Houck Agency can find the policy that fits your needs, from business health coverage, individual health, home, auto, and long-term health care policies. They have a staff that can take care of financial planning, including retirement and investing. And Barbara Houck has been a realtor for over 35 years, and her contacts helped her buy and sell homes and commercial properties across the state. One-stop shop, the Houck Agency, 801 South Main in Stillwater. Call statewide toll-free at 800-543-8588. The Houck Agency, when experience counts.
Okay, welcome back. All right, we did spend a lot of time, kind of did a little setup and a little reminiscing and look back to Les Miles. Let's talk real quickly about the game. Robert, I was just looking, and you talked about specifically the how you feel about Jim Knowles' defense. Look, the Kansas only scored 24 against Indiana State. They only scored 7 against Coastal Carolina. They scored 48 against Boston
That's prior
College.
to opening up the offense.
It is.
Yes.
They scored 48 against Boston College. They scored 24 against West Virginia. Only 14 against TCU, but they scored 20 against OU. They scored 48 versus Texas.
That's the first game with Dearman as OC was Texas.
34 versus Kansas. Now, Kansas State held them to 10, so they struggled, and we held them to 13. Look, my point is, I really thought they would come in and move the football. They've done some good things this year. Oklahoma State just absolutely annihilated them on the defensive side.
Yeah, and this was one of the things last week that Jim Knowles told us in our meetings. He really felt, even though a lot of people don't want to give the Oklahoma State defensive line credit, it's still young. There were no returning starts from last season. Israel Antwine wasn't eligible or didn't play until the 4th game. A lot of things, and some injuries. But with Tyler Lacey back, especially Tyler Lacey, Sione Assis back as a guy in the middle, they've really cross-trained Samuele Tuihalamaka. And also Jaden Jernigan. I mean, we don't talk much about Jaden Jernigan. He's a true freshman playing in there from Allen, Texas. And anybody who knows their high school football in Texas, Allen's the cat's meow. Came in midterm, and I'm really surprised at how good Jaden Jernigan has been as a true freshman. So here's the good part of that. They did dominate the way Jim Knowles hoped they would against Kansas. The linebackers did a terrific job making a bunch of tackles. And then you got the X factor now. Colby Harvell Peel is like a magnet to the loose balls. And Trace Ford, Trace Ford's interception. Of course, that was a trick play, and Thomas McVitie, who was playing split end as a quarterback, he's out there where he's not used to throwing the football. And if you think about it, he was almost in a direct line with the receiver on the sideline with Trace in the middle. And do you remember what really impressed Mike Gundy about Trace Ford and why they offered him?
I'm going to guess his length.
Well, his length, but he was a center fielder at Edmond Santa Fe. And Mike Gundy saw him track down fly balls. It's like, a big guy like that can run like that and track down those. He's got great eyesight to the ball. That's a ball skill, being able to judge the football and where it is. He timed his jump perfect. That was an athletic interception
Yes,
for a big man.
Absolutely.
That was sweet. So you're getting the turnovers. Your defensive line is starting to mature a little bit. You had the linebackers. They put a new wrinkle in. They had. It looked like a corner blitz, but he's a safety. He's kind of the hybrid corner safety out there. That's the first time I think they've sent Jarek Bernard to the quarterback, and first time they did it in the first half, boom, down goes Carter Stanley. So, I love all the things they're doing right now.
He became Flat Stanley. So now then, West Virginia. The what on earth? Who? Who the who? What the what?
Jarret Doege.
Where did they come from to beat Kansas State?
Well, Jarret Doege is a transfer from Bowling Green. I think it's his older brother. Played quarterback at Texas Tech, and I think people will remember that. He was pretty good. He's been sitting there. They thought they would redshirt him because he has a redshirt year available. Well, guess what? They waited until West Virginia could be bowl eligible. I mean, the Mountaineers They're 2 away.
We're in the way.
Actually, no, I checked that.
Aren't they 4-6?
Yeah, I thought they are now.
Yeah, I
they're
think they're 4-6, so they're 2 away, so we're in their way.
So we're in their way, but here's the deal. Whether they're bowl eligible or not, by waiting till now to put Doege in the game, he can play the rest of the season as a starter, and he gets his redshirt year and comes back next year. So we'll have to see how he does. And his numbers were good. They weren't off the chart, but they were good. I think he threw for 239 yards and a couple of touchdowns. But
was this his first game?
This was his first game.
So he could play in the bowl game if they got there.
Oh yeah, he could finish it out, and I think that's the way Neil Brown timed it. I usually wait until Tuesday, maybe Wednesday to watch tape. I watched West Virginia's offense last night, and I watched this game that they had with Kansas State, and then I went back and watched their game with Texas Tech. I wanted to see, are they different with Doege? They are absolutely different. Doege is a guy who can run the ball a little bit, and so they were almost 50-50 run-pass. The week before, and remember they got behind early against Texas Tech too, they threw the ball 3/4 of the game. So they are a little different with Doege, and Oklahoma State's only going to have one game to study on him.
Glad it's a 11 a.m. start. We're going to ask Robert next. Got our pick segment coming up. Those Deckham Baylor Bears let me down. They let us all down.
Iowa State helped us, but Baylor, you let us down. How dare you?
You could have helped us really see you guys in the championship. Well, actually, we've probably been OU, but either way. Take a break, come back, ask Robert, coming up right after this.
Do you take multiple routine prescriptions for medical conditions such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, COPD, asthma, or arthritis? Are you tired of making multiple trips to the pharmacy each month to pick up refills of all your medications? Tiger Drug has a new, easy, convenient, and free synchronized refill program for you. We will work with your insurance so that your meds will all be available on your refill date so that there will be no waiting. Call one of our friendly staff members and ask how you can join the Synchronized Refill Program at 405-372-7900 or stop by at 825 South Walnut. And be sure to ask about our vaccination program. Tiger Drug in Stillwater, where the customer comes first.
If you haven't been to TS Fork at White Barn Estates lately, we have an exciting new concept to tell you about. It's called Thirsty Thursdays, and it includes 4 courses of the same high-quality food as our other nights, and some of the best mixed drinks you've ever had. Best of all, no reservations are required. And while you're there, relax with a drink on our covered patio and check out the gift shop with Made in Oklahoma products. Go to tsfork.com for more details and to check out our upcoming special menus.
Lot of action on the street today, huh, Willie?
Yep. Oh, check out the German V8.
Ooh, 64 dream car.
At Shelter Insurance, we insure all your favorite rides and have since 1946.
Sweet pickup. Hiya, Muggsy.
Yo.
From Hot Wheels to hybrids, we've got you covered.
Hey, mailman.
Love those shoes.
Hey, where you going?
Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Agent Wendell Stevens about Shelter's auto insurance discounts.
Time for
You're doing the dancing one. The dancing Ask Robert.
Ask Robert. All right, here we go. Will Stilley wants to know, give me the top 4 teams now, and who will be the top 4 teams actually playing at the end?
Oh, in the college football playoff.
CFP, yeah.
LSU's a slam dunk. I don't think anybody's going to beat LSU.
So they are now, and they will be. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think Ohio State is right there.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I think Clemson, because they're going to win a conference championship. They really don't have any competition in the ACC. And now they're winning games like the committee wants to see them win.
That's
they're
right,
just,
yeah.
I mean, Wake Forest is a good football team.
They are, and
I've watched a lot of them this year, and they whipped them
it's
like
the only
nobody's
other
business.
decent ACC team out there, and they just beat them like, anyway. So who's there now and who will actually represent? So right now you have the exact same. Who's there and who will be there? Now we get Alabama, we get Georgia, we get these other teams that are in.
No, I don't think it'll be another SEC team. I know there'll be a lot of campaigning down in the South, and gosh, everybody knows it. It just means more. If you haven't heard, it just means more. It's tough, Casey, because I think you've got a team in Oregon that is really wide open, full throttle. They're not bad defensively. They're not as good as Utah. And that's really where I see it coming down to. I would love to tell you that it would be the winner of the Big 12 championship game. And honestly, I think the best chance for the Big 12 still, after Saturday, is still Baylor. If Baylor, everybody saw Baylor jump out on Oklahoma. It was impressive. And then saw them, fall apart in the second half. But if Baylor beats Texas this week, and they need to beat Texas, style points count now, Matt Rule, because you have a loss. Style points are multiplied. You got to beat Texas soundly. Then they get Kansas in Lawrence. You got to beat Kansas soundly. And then you've got to beat Oklahoma with a little bit of authority, with by a full touchdown or more. And if Baylor did that, I could see Baylor getting in. I don't know if I see Oklahoma getting in, even if they run the table. And I'm honestly hoping it won't even matter that whether TCU gets the win over OU this week and gives Oklahoma State the opportunity. And I say gives. I mean, if you want to look back on anything, if we want to get mean about Oklahoma State, for the Gundy, the Gundy haters that are out there, you just go to the Texas Tech game. Texas Tech is, if OSU doesn't get to the Big 12 championship game and beats OU this year, you will look back on Texas Tech.
It's the only bad loss we have.
As the reason why. So
Texas was early on the road with a freshman quarterback.
Yeah. So if you ask me to just pick, I know this is. You're talking about who's going to win the Pac-12
who's
championship.
There and who's going to?
I'm going to say Utah.
Utah,
because I think Utah's better. Right now, I would put Oregon there.
Okay, so Oregon, but Utah will eventually.
I think Utah and Oregon, if they play and I think that they will play in the championship game. I think Utah with a strong running game. They got one of the best backs in the country that's not named
Kirk
Chuba.
Street here.
Not named Chuba though, and a good defense. I think Utah finds a way to beat Oregon.
Got to go quick here. Gramps of Stillwater wants to know, if you were the director of the committee, would it be on resume or on best team? What would you give your committee to go with? You find the best resume, or you find the 4 best teams?
Well, I'm kind of a combination. I know that's a cop out.
Yes,
I want the best team that has a good resume. You got to have the resume to get you in the discussion. Then after that, I'm looking at best teams.
So what if an 11-1 or 12-1
That's why I said
Pac-12
Baylor
team? Well, sure, but do they have the resume?
I think they will. If they beat Texas,
They're not
hammer
con.
Kansas. No, they're non-con stunk.
That's why I'm saying resume.
But you know what? Oregon has maybe the best, but they lost to Auburn.
Sean Stillwater wants to know, Spencer Sanders going to be okay?
We'll see. I mean, I think he will be. I mean, everything on the sideline talk was precautionary, but I know they're going to do an MRI, and by the time you watch this, they'll have done the MRI.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we'll see. I do know this. I was really happy for Drew Brown. And people who know me know I've been a Spencer Sanders guy since the day he committed to Oklahoma State. But I didn't give Drew Brown enough credit in leading up to this. People don't want to believe it after what happened at Oregon State. The competition was extremely close. And you saw Drew drop that ball into Dylan Stoner. Drew Brown can play. But this is what grabbed me. In the post-game afterwards, I'm talking to him. And Spencer even says, Spencer, I'm going to give you the day off. I'm going to talk to Drew. And he goes, oh, yeah, talk to Drew. I mean, they've forged a really good relationship. But when I was talking to Drew, he said, this was great. And I'm really happy about it. But, I decided weeks ago when I was going through my mind on how this has turned out for me, how do I want to be remembered here? I just want to be a leader, and I want people to remember me as a good dude. It reminded me, have you ever seen Book of Manning?
Never have.
You need to see that. It's a great documentary on the Manning family, which really probably is one of the first families of football. Archie talks about his dad's advice going to college. Just make sure you're a good guy. Everybody thinks you're a good guy. And it reminded me. Tears? Yeah. Yeah, it reminded me of that.
It's only happened a couple times this year, but it did. Last thing.
Oh, that's the first true time this year. Yeah, come on.
Then I got it. Yes, no, because we got to get to a break.
All
Sean of Stillwater wants to know, will Chuba get an invite?
Oh, man, I hope so. If he does, I think I'm going to go.
Well, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I think heck of a trip.
I've decided I'm in charge of the expense account.
Yeah.
So for Go Pokes, Go Pokes is sending Robert Allen to New York. I hope so.
That's a great idea.
I would say if it
Kid
was
today, he
deserves
it.
Today he would go.
And I love the fact that Coach Gundy said from the pulpit, if you will, he said, I'm going to tell you because he won't. And the next cut that I saw in the newscast was, guys, I don't worry about that sort of thing, from Chuba. So he truly is. He deserves it. Got to take a break. Come back, wrap it up with some picks after this.
Frontier Lanes is Stillwater's favorite family entertainment destination. Open 7 days a week, Ernie and the crew offer 16 lanes of bowling, but that's just where the fun begins. Knock down the pins to the sounds of your favorite tunes with our jukebox. The game room features pinball, pool, and exciting arcade games. And with a full snack bar, you can satisfy your thirst and get some of the best burgers and fries in town. Frontier Lanes near Airport Road at 3524 North Washington. Call 372-8584 and be sure to ask them about booking your child's next birthday party.
The Hideaway since 1957. The Hideaway is famous for a lot of things, including their off-the-charts fried mushrooms, incredible service, unbeatable lunch specials, and, of course, the one-of-a-kind pizza. Stillwater's pizza tradition begins and ends here, from the big country to the pizza of the gods. And even the sizes are famous, from the mini personal to the big kahuna. Like us on Facebook for unique offers, lunch or dinner, dine-in, pickup, or delivery. The Hideaway, 230 South Mount Block, or call 372-4777. More than a restaurant, it's a tradition.
Formal Fantasy in the heart of downtown Stillwater provides everything you need for your formal occasion. We have dresses, shoes, and jewelry to make you stand out on your special day. We offer tuxedo and suit rentals right here in Stillwater. Our staff of expert seamstresses will alter your clothing to fit perfectly, saving you from going from store to store to get everything you need for your event. From school dances to weddings, Formal Fantasy at 121 East 9th in downtown Stillwater is your formal store.
Life beyond the gravitational pull of the city requires a can-do attitude. It takes versatility to accomplish all that needs to be done, and enough power to never get in over your head. The Kubota L-Series tractor pulls up its bootstraps, hooks up to its many attachments, and gets the job done right. That's why it's the #1 selling compact tractor in America.
Well, Robert and I both agree that Kansas State will knock off Texas Tech. Iowa State will hold serve at home against Kansas, and Virginia Tech will beat Pitt this week. Let's look at some other ones. There's just a couple of interesting games. SMU and Navy.
I'm going to go Navy.
I will go SMU. Finally, I get a chance to gain a game on
SMU,
you.
where is that game?
It's in where did this Navy
Annapolis?
play? Annapolis, thank you.
I'm going Navy.
All right.
They'll recover from the Notre Dame beating.
And it was a beatdown. Houston travels to Tulsa. Area team and a former offensive coordinator. What do you think?
I'm going to go with Houston.
I will take Tulsa in this one to get it done. I like Tulsa when we were over there. Played hard. Yeah. OU, TCU.
Oh, boy. Hope I'm wrong. OU.
I've got OU as well. Penn State will travel to take on Ohio State. I think I know where you're going with that one.
Yeah, I think we'll go with the Fighting Yursiches.
I'm with you on you know what, those clowns firing Yursich. I mean, he was such a bad coach here. What are they thinking? Been having that debate a lot lately. Texas traveling to Waco.
Wow. I'm going to go Baylor because Texas just is they're Jekyll Hyde. They got psychiatric problems.
And give me a final on the Cowboys in West Virginia.
Oh, I'm going to say Oklahoma State wins it 27-21.
Woo, I got 31-17 Oklahoma State. There you go. We're out of time. Good stuff. Ask Robert send us a question. Email at askrobert@tv31.net. For him, I'm me. See you next time right here on the College Football Preview Show.